Okay, we are
Oh,
finally
oh,
back.
oh, 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 whoa, 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 nobody heard anything. Okay, don't anyhow talk, this kind of thing. But we are back with training grounds and we will be into the second map. Cannot laugh abstract, I didn't know I was on mic, okay, I'm trying to be professional over here. But we are going into the second map of the day, which is
Indeed.
Mirage. No, I wasn't complaining about chat, this is a good chat, okay? I'm not gonna say your name, but this was
Moving on, we are
but
going
yeah,
into.
it was a chance. Just that shift up there. But we are into the second map of the day, which is Mirage, and we are in between. Not in between, or rather, Vindicta is up against Aerious, and we saw in the first map how well they did.
Mhm.
So we are going to Mirage, which is Aerious map.
Mhm.
So hopefully they will be able to achieve some results compared to the first half.
Right, so on Mirage now, of course, this is Aeria's pick of the map. So
Right.
hopefully that instead of getting like 5 wins, hopefully that Aerius will be able to pick up a fight against
Right.
Vindicta, and maybe if honestly if they were to pick against Vindicta like quite a lot, even if they win Vindicta in this match, it would mean a lot.
Right, it will definitely mean a
swear.
lot, and it's a booster going in for Aerious because so in the first map, it's not exactly like, Vindicta didn't really have the skills, or rather Aerius didn't have the skills. It was just that, Vindicta did so well about holding their ground, especially on the counter-terry side. So that was what gave them the thing. But we do see the teams are going into the knife match, so let's jump right in. And if I'm not wrong, yeah, Vindicta has won knife match already. So it's down to them whether or not they want to go on the T side or CT side. If I were them, I'll definitely choose the T side first, get a little bit of rounds, rank up, a little bit of kills. But I do believe Sure was the one that said that she would prefer on the CT side.
Well, for me, I don't really have a preference.
Right.
I don't really have much. Like I don't really hate. I mean, I don't hate Mirage, but I prefer not to play it, mainly because the mid control is very, very important.
So important, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. The mid and most games nowadays are always important because you get a lot of control, and especially in Mirage, you go from the underpass and you have, connectors. So there's a lot of control, or rather fight for control with mid, because that's where the terrorists can really rotate really, really quickly into both sides, and this just poses so much problem for, the counter terrorists. In this case would be Vindicta. So they have chosen to be on the CT side. And we do see Lenny over here with the solo caretaker of this, A side. And we do see, I think it's going to be a rush from Aerious, but they are starting to do a little bit of a slow push at the start, going to apart.
So this is going to be a slow crawl coming in from Aerious eSports, and they are going to go for the flashes incoming, and really good nade coming in will be able to get a hit on the Cancer as well as Blank, but Blank is just going to go down as well as Cancer. Styron will go down as well, and it's Hyperion will be... Hyperion? Where did that name come from? But either way, looks like Dr. Pessimist just came in and managed to get a pretty good hit himself, and Dark getting a kill onto Hyperion as well. Now he's going to be left with Dr. Pessimist. Hopefully that he will be able to win the one-on-one standoff against one another, and looks like Lenny as well as Dark did manage to play the cards well, to the point that they kind of have to force him out of his current location and, engage in a 2v1 instead of a 1v1v1.
Right, it is a first win for Vindicta, or rather the first round for Vindicta, and this is an important round because we will see the map control going in the way of Vindicta with that amount of economy. Once again, Lenny the only sole caretaker, but we do see a little bit of support coming in from Myers. He's changing to Mia for this round for no apparent reason.
They like to change the name. Well, there is a lot of flexibility and freedom that you can do. But either way, Styron is going to meet up with Blank. Blank with the instant 1 dig right onto Styron's face. And they're going to be left with Dark, AWOL as well as Lenny right here. It's just going to be a 1v1 in terms of scout gameplay against Dr. Pessimist. And I think that Dr. Pessimist is on a pretty good spot right now, possibly getting a kill very, very soon. AWOL getting a kill on the Blank, and as well as Hyperion just gonna go straight for the next one. Gonna go for a pop flash, and there we go. Because, well, he does have the C4. I don't think that he really needs to, push out and, force that kill that much.
Not. AWOL over here doing so well while watching over the C4, and I think he managed to kill 3 members before, or no, 2
Two
members, right? So that really stopped the push coming in from Aerious. Other side of the map, Lenny
Surprise!
gonna pick up the kill, and A-Wall over here with 3 kills on his own. When he pick up the 4th, but Lenny with a quick rotation coming in from the T-base to clean up the round for Vindicta. So like I mentioned, that round wasn't really a surprise win for them. They had so much economy and they did so well about holding on the site.
Well, so far I think that we are seeing Vindicta in a 2-1. No, 3-1-1?
It's more like a 3-1-1 formation at this point of time. We do see that Lenny was always the sole caretaker of A, but this time round they are just going to split up as much as possible. It's more like a 1-1-1-1 at this point of time. And we do see the rush coming in from Aerious, the gunning down coming from Vindicta. Is that a team kill? I spot, but it isn't. Lenny going in with that, or rather blind spray, and he does pick up a member, and Marble might be able to get a dive over there. And we do see Hyperion managing to get a kill, and that's a really important economic kill coming in from Aerious. It's a 2v1, but the C4 is down. But he does jump on the run, but he will get picked off by, A-Wall over there. So unfortunately for Aerious, a little bit of excitement coming for Hyperion for the 9th kill, but nevertheless, that round goes in the way of Vindicta.
Yeah, Hyperion was kind of going very, very,
ninja.
No, not ninja at all. He's like active, jumping around, breaking the vents, and then I think because of the vents, that's why the Styron looked up and fired a shot. If not for the vents, I think that he could possibly get an easy nick off a headshot right on the side.
He could have just done the slow push. He was making a little bit of too much noise there, but he just hack it. He's just having so much fun, so that's probably what he was doing.
Yeah, it does seem like he's having fun.
He's probably hyped up from the 9th kill he got over there.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we are going into round number 4, and this is where Lenny is starting to push out a base on that M4 of his. 2 kills for him already early into the round, and you can see the rotation coming out. Wait, we get a third one.
Lenny.
He just runs out of ammo at the point of time, and Hyperion will be able to pick up that kill. And it's a 4v3 in the favor of Vindicta at this point of time. You can see Aerious being shook. You don't really know where to go at this point of time. They have given away so much information and lost so much time in the process. Vindicta with the rotation. You can see A-Wall in such a good spot at this point of time. He's just gonna hold up into the house, not allowing Aerious to push out even out of their base.
Yeah, but of course Lenny did a very, very terrific job at shutting down their execute, because well, if they were to be able to kind of execute in, throw in all the flashes whatsoever, it would definitely take off one or more than one body.
Right. He managed to clear 2 members over there down at the alley, so that doesn't really give much space to Aerious anymore. He really shut down the A rush. And you can see, what's that? I do see a creep up coming in from A-Wall. Will he be able to spot Blank over there? But he will be able to get the back kill, but he misses that first shot. But Marble gets killed by the second one, and Nyx will get picked off before picking off Styron. So that's still a dominating round coming from Vindicta, and that was such an important round. Look at the amount of economy that
I don't think
Aerious
so.
have.
Yeah,
I don't think they will be able to afford a full buyout.
And Deagles probably, knowing them, they're probably gonna buy CZX and Deagles. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they're just gonna go for straight
right,
ban.
CZX is definitely the way to go. And if you don't know,
I think they're gonna rush.
Right, there was a new update coming in for CS today, and we are spotting a new gun, or rather, reintroduction of an old gun coming in, and so you can actually change it out. But nevertheless, we did that once again, shutting down into Tatanos. Will there be a third kill? But he gets shut down by Marble
1 HP
with 1 HP.
Lenny goes down right after getting 2 kills right into his pocket, and Mia's just gonna go for another one. Successfully get a kill on the next, but of course, Dr. Pessimist will be able to close that out and get the kill on the Mia. Maevs. I'm just gonna call you Maevs. And in the end, looks like even they killed Maevs and Lenny, they didn't really manage to get the weapons or try to save it or anything. It's because, well, Vindicta is just playing a lot more aggressively.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we saw how well Vindicta did really well in the first map in terms of holding the site. But now look at the amount of flare coming from Lenny, pushing so high up into the map itself, and managing to get so many important kills before the rush even sets in for Aerious. So he's pushing even faster than the Aerious is pushing into the round. But at this point of time, Vindicta have all the cards in their hands. They pretty much have Aerious in such a tight spot. But you can see Lenny once again pushing out into even further than Palace. So that's something that Aerious have to consider, perhaps trying to beat him into 1-1, just giving up A completely. Not exactly the best decision, but at this point in time, they have to settle for it.
Surprise! And there will be one kill for Sensor onto A-wall and just gonna go straight in for the execute. No, looks like there's gonna be a fake. There's gonna be a fake, and Styron will be still hopefully and waiting right by Vance. And in the end, we do have Maevs actually pushing up, being as ballsy as possible, like he always is, and getting a kill right in the mid, and just gonna slowly creep his way back to B short. And does seem like Aerious eSports just gonna lean slightly towards to A with one man already in Palace, and the rest of the team gonna go straight down to T Cave, hopefully, and
Right.
looks like they're gonna go for the execute after all.
Right, and this is, at this point of time, Aerious just have to go for Hail Mary. They need to rack up some economy for themselves, and they will be trying to go to A.
There's one kill on to Lenny, and of course Dark will be able to pump himself right in and get the kill with the AWP right on the blank, and Cancel almost getting those kills, and Dark is really low in HP. In the end, Dark with the evasive maneuver and managing to get the kill onto Cancer. Despite the fact being in all of that smoke, 2 smokes, one right on jungle and one right on top of stairs, and he still managed to kind of maneuver his way.
Right, that was such a, I wouldn't say flair, but he just did it. He made it look so easy, right? But then at this point of time, like I mentioned, Aerious have such a tight spot. They don't really have a clear strategy going into the T side. This is their map after all, so I'm not exactly sure as to whether or not is it Vindicta, but we do see Dark with the first kill.
Of course, Dark with his trusty AWP will always make himself at least a single kill. Styron comes in with a good backup, but in the end, Dark completely misses, and Blank will be able to get a kill on the Styron and Dark. And whoa, what is this change of game? Suddenly, Maevs did manage to get a AWP, get himself a kill on the Blank, but in the end, it's going to be a 2v2 kind of situation. But of course, Hyperion himself is going to be low in HP as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I think that was such a fast, fast pace coming in from Aerious. They won the mid control, picking off 2 members over there in the nest, and then suddenly they just dropped the intensity.
Yeah.
I think it was
like,
because due to Vindicta rotating really, really quickly. But once again, the mid control in Vindicta's hand, but that doesn't matter because it's a 2v2 at this point of time, and Aerious, they are trying to sneak their way into the A side, and we can see Persimius already checking his blind spots. I think that's a really, really good habit when it comes to good players. You try to check as much blind spots as possible, try to clear out, make sure that you don't get backstabbed. But try not to spend so much time because it allows the CT to creep back into the it allows them to creep back into
they have the information now. Dr. Pessimist definitely have the information. Gets killed on the Maevs right here, and looks like Lenny is going to be the one coming in straight right on the Palace, and I don't think that he'll be able to do anything against them. And knowing Aerious eSports, whenever they get the bomb plant,
right,
or they get the site,
right,
they know exactly where to go for.
They do so well in protecting the site itself,
Yes.
and this is where we might see. You can see that they got their angles covered.
Well
nevertheless. Oh, Lenny.
That transfer though, not just gonna go straight for the Molotov right on the connector, and I don't think that he'll be able to do quite much with the amount of things going on. But look at the defuse, and of course, getting the kill right on the Hyperion. And though I'm questioning, would it be the right way to actually go straight down into connector? But either way, Lenny did a really good job. He knew exactly where the opponent was. Okay, so he see one guy at CT, right? And obviously the next one probably is gonna be at connector, right?
Right.
He threw everything. He literally threw everything into connector and just prayed for the best.
Right, I'm starting to question Aerious in terms of the decision making over there at that point of time, because I know he heard Lenny going for the defuse, but he had so much time. He shouldn't have just appeared immediately after that defuse.
That's true.
Yeah, and we do see a stack up once again coming from Aerious. Ooh,
Well
one
played
shot.
from Styron. Good support.
That early kill coming from Styron, and you can see that Aerious are halted.
And looks like everyone is gravitating towards B side, and Styron managing to get a kill right on the Cancer. Just gonna look for the next one right onto Black. And of course, Lole Wall is just going to be hiding himself right onto. Wow! And they actually managed to disintegrate the entire team of Aerious eSports.
5-0, no casualties on the side of Vindicta, and finally, I do believe Aerious have caught a timeout. So this is actually a good time. The thing about more amateur teams is that they don't really have a timeout. They don't really know when to call a timeout, and I think this is a good point for Aerious to really regroup and really settle down and try and figure out why they're starting to lose those first 8 rounds. You know, in my opinion, I think Aerious takes too long to break into sites, and even when they do so, you know, they are going through B when Vindicta have so much economy. I would say they're a little bit unlucky, you know. At that point of time, Vindicta had 3 men guarding B, well, most of the time, and that's the strategy that Vindicta have been going for most of the rounds. You know, they put a 3-1-1, or you know, they put a 3-2, 3-2-0. I'm not 3-2-0. I mean 3-1-1. So Lenny not exactly backed up by his teammates. So that's something that Aerious should have picked up at this point of time. They should have realized that time and time again they are being stopped by either Lenny pushing out or just getting gunned down by Apartment. So they have to have that change in mentality. They have to go for the A rush. I'm not sure whether they've realized that. But A side, it's always open. There's always only Lenny guarding the side. So if they do manage to pick up the kill onto Lenny, they can actually go for the fast push going to A. But that's the issue. Lenny has been so on his game. You can look at 10 kills over there, 4 deaths only. So he has been such on fire that it's not allowing Aerious to really have that opportunity to break into A.
Yeah, I think that they're kind of devastated from the previous execute they did on A.
Right.
So in the end, they just decided to whoa.
He's taking so much damage over there.
Well, in the end, looks like Dark is just going to go straight for the push, and he successfully managed to get a kill onto Nyx, and I believe that there was a backstab as well. He just pushed straight in from Nest, going down to underpass, and then coming straight up, getting that kill, nicking in. And it does seem like the fact that Aerious eSports, I think that they had firepower, of course, they know what they're doing, but I think that when it comes to like, you know, going to enter a site, like before they enter the site, they need to in this case, okay, like I said about firepower, even though they are on pistol at the point of that kind of range, I don't think that they are supposed to miss everything onto Dark.
I'm not sure, man. I mean, that was at that perfect opportunity. They were pincering Dark down.
Yeah, that was that was kind of a 15 degrees turn and then a 90 degrees turn. No, I mean 180.
I think that adds up to 180.
Yeah,
if my math isn't wrong. Like
nah,
90
I think that was
90.
I think that was more of
no,
okay,
90 plus 180. So that's like a 270.
270.
Yeah, that's a 270 maneuver over there.
That's right.
By Dark, but nevertheless, he has been brought down. It's a 4v2 at this point in time, and Pessimist going to the side.
Looks like Pessimist just gonna go straight in, hiding in the smoke. Gets an easy kill. Round to Maevs. Well played coming from Dr. Pessimist, and he's gonna face against 2 men now. And in the end, not being able to do anything for himself. And it's gonna be a 9-0.
That dominating lead coming in from Vindicta. 9-0 indeed. And in the 10th round, you know, we have to give Aerious a little bit of break. You know, that was the eco round for them, and they had that pause, so they have already started to, you know, I prefer that round. Even though they were ecoing, they didn't really rush stupidly into it. They managed to pick up 1 or 2 important kills for them. So that was really, really important, but we finally see that split up coming from Aerious. So I'm not exactly sure whether or not they are going for the A rush or they're going for the slow push. I think they just want, you know, play this round slow, wait for Vindicta to make a lot of mistakes, or rather as much mistakes as possible. But at this point of time, I really don't see Vindicta doing those silly mistakes. You know, we saw how composed they are when it comes to holding sides, and that smoke is so good. It just shuts down Palace, you know, 30 seconds into the round. So Aerious already shut off on Palace for another probably, you know what, give or take 20 seconds. So that just gives Aerious, you know, rather Vindicta so much time to rotate. Oh my ass.
Well, look at that. Maevs saw the side shoulder and immediately got himself away and into the boxes, and of course making Hyperion miss his shot, and of course Maevs with the AWP getting the 1-shot kill right onto Hyperion. Now this is the difference about Vindicta and Aerious eSports. One of the reasons that Vindicta is constantly winning is because that they are always 1 man ahead. And the reason they are 1 man ahead is because it's either Dark, Maevs or Styron with the AWP getting the first kill, like slowly bring down the numbers. So in this case, just all the numbers are slowly going down, and Aerious eSports really couldn't do anything at the point of time. So right now, Nyx gonna be all alone right here in the apartment, trying to get a kill, managing to get a kill on the lolly wall, and just gonna put himself right on the side without the C4. This is the problem with Aerious eSports as well. They like to push in the side without the C4, and of course Tyron just goes straight in and gets the kill on the Nyx.
Right, and once again Vindicta with that dominating round. They didn't even lose much at this point of time. 10-0. And I don't know, man, you know, the way that Vindicta is doing so well, it's like they know where Aerious is at every single point of time, and
They pretty much know the common areas of the common areas of areas. Get it? Okay, so the common spots are what areas will always play, and their uppers are always making the first kill and always making sure that they make the 5k well worth. Now it's gonna be left with LOL AWOL and Styron, even though they is 2v3. With the AWP, I'm pretty sure that they can make full use of the AWP and hopefully be able to get a couple of kills as well.
oh, Styron, they managed to spot, but Nyx is all alone mid. I think that's very good because he pins down any coming from mid.
Oh, why didn't you reload? No, well, that is one of the reasons that Aerious eSports still have lots to learn. But either way, really good nade coming in from Dr. Pessimist actually, and instant dinks with the pistols right there. And LOL AWOL just gonna slowly make his way up, and looks like Dr. Pessimist will be able to get a kill on Styro, and LOL AWOL is gonna be stuck, and Dr. Pessimist being the hero of this game, and will be able to get himself out of the 0 mark. And that will be 10-1.
Finally, the first round for Aerious on Mirage, and maybe this is just the turning point that they need. You know, this is such an important round in terms of, you know, psychological warfare, and it's not exactly the healthiest state of mind going into 10-0, but that was such a strong fight back from Aerious. Yeah, it is a nice knife indeed. I almost said knife.
It looks like there's a mesh in the knife. But never mind, putting that ahead and aside, Hyperion will be able to get a kill on the Styron. So really good job here. Now, Aerious eSports is finally making the first move, whereby they are able to get like the first kills, and that is actually really important, which is one of the things that I stated out there. And now, unfortunately for Aerious eSports, blank will go down and the body count will tally up right now.
Oh, a lot of action going to mid.
Maya's getting a kill in there as well, and that was a tag.
Right.
That was a tag on the Dr. Pessimist. I believe that was kind of true wall as well, so he wasn't able to get much kills. Just gonna much of a kill onto Dr. Pessimist. The pre-fire right on the same exact spot. And of course, Dr. Pessimist is no fool. He will not stay in the same place.
Definitely. I mean, you know, the amount of, you know, despite the fact that Aerious are on the losing end, I think that but
It was
Maya's
close.
getting the
It was
early kill.
really close.
He got that pre-fire shot down. Maya's not making a mistake there, but like I was saying, you know, I think despite Aerious losing, we cannot doubt that they have a certain level of standards when it goes into playing with them, and they definitely have that knowledge. It's just that Vindicta is just outplaying on so many levels.
And of course, firepower definitely have to be changed.
Right, definitely. I think Aerious have to change something up, but they are just, you know, at this point of time, I would say, you know, Vindicta are so confident.
Vindicta is really strong in terms of, like, they know what they have to do. Plus, they have very good mechanical skills as well.
Right. They have the skills to back up, you know, what they want to do in terms of flare, whether or not it's pushing out of the side. But we see Lenny here not buying anything or taking a little bit of damage. I think that was a little bit of jokes coming in from Vindicta. But, oh, interesting strategy coming in for Aerious. I think it's a push.
Right on to B shot in this kind of situation, and of course Myers will be able to get a kill right on the Nyx, and I think that they won't be able to do quite much. Myers, wait, what? I wasn't able to keep up. My bad. But in the end, Vindicta managed to smash the Aerious eSports right down into the gutter. And with that all said, Aerious eSports have no economy whatsoever. I mean, they have economy, but low. They're gonna go for a forced buy right here with a couple of AKs, some utilities as well, with Nyx only wielding a CZ auto.
Right, I think that was, it's not exactly a half buy. I would say, you know, they are trying to stop Vindicta in the push.
But gets a kill.
Oh, the kills coming in A side.
Whoa, Nyx dealing quite a lot of damage right on the Dark End Styron. And all gonna left with Dr. Pessimist and Blank, and beautiful nade coming from Dr. Pessimist. Of course, there comes the incendiary, and unfortunately wasn't able to do anything. And I suggest Blank. Actually, I can't really suggest anything. I don't really have anything for him. But either way, he gets a kill on Styron. I suggest him to actually jump over now. Damn. But in the end,
through the smoke, that was a really good spot by Blank over there. He stayed patient. He knew he had given his position away, and he knew that the only way that Vindicta had to come from was the platform. And he saw the outline of whoever that was and managed to just gun him down. So I mean, that was a really good. I mean, it's the minute details that makes a player good, and that's where we saw. Like I mentioned, Aerious does not lack quality, but at this point of time, Vindicta is just showing so much more in terms of going into every single round. So that's something that Aerious have to be careful of.
Alright, looks like we do see a fast rush coming in from Aerious eSports finally, and looks like we only have Lenny to defend for himself and covering every single bases, but not being able to cover anything at that point. Shop filled with 3 men, and looks like they won't be able to do anything at this point of time. Dark will be wielding his M4A4, and of course Dr. Pessimist just instantly sniping him out, and Styron will be the lone wolf right here, trying to get some couple of picks right onto apartments, but he's not caring about the size, not caring about anything else, just gonna look into apartments and hopefully will be able to get a nick right onto Cancer. And
Abstract, and you can see Styron here trying his best to get those shots, but he
baiting it
misses
out. Baiting it out again! And baiting it out again! And Styron is all alone and tries to get an instant headshot. Hey, that's a pretty good shot coming in from Dr. Pessimist. And he's still alive! Someone tell me how! But in the end, Hyperion going straight in with the knife, and everyone dies. Of course, that's round 15, and that's halftime already. And halftime?
No, half the map. Half the map. So going to the second half, we will see both teams switch side at this point in time. Vindicta will be heading into the T side, and Aerious will be taking that of the CT. But at this point of time, Abstract, I just suddenly thought of a tongue twister.
Go ahead.
Alright, so okay, this is a sentence, right? I love lavishly living the nice knife life.
Wait, what?
I love lavishly living the nice knife life.
Nice knife?
Life. You know the nice knife? Like,
I love lavishly living a nice knife life.
yeah, correct. But say it really quickly. Like 3 times in a row. Like, but make it sound like articulate. Alright, I'm gonna write the sentence.
I'm gonna sound like a complete fool.
Yeah, I know, right? Because this is what
Okay,
I thought.
do it.
Because you were mentioning like the gut knife.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that was a nice knife. And then I
That's
just
a
thought
nice
of it. Yeah,
knife,
I'm just gonna write it down.
Write it down, and I will read that out as a kind of a form of entertainment. And while we are kind of stuck in this screen right here, I'm not too sure exactly what's going on, but we do have a random smile coming up right here, right onto the city side. But we will get more information very, very soon, and either way,
Yeah, we will head into a short little break while Abstract tries to remember.
I don't have to remember.
Oh,
I'm just
you
gonna
have
read
that
it out
sentence
now.
right in front of
Yeah.
you. So the sentence, I repeat for the viewers, is I love lavishly living the nice knife life. So good luck to Abstract while I get our producers to get the second half going.
Just so you know, he spelled life as in L-I-V-E. He's... Who taught you English? Man! Alright, so it's gonna be I love lavishly living the nice life. That is one. But I'm just gonna go it fast. I love lavishly living the nice life. I love lavishly living the nice life. I love lavishly living the life. Close enough. Very close, I would say. I thought I did a pretty good job right there. But anyways, I believe that Aerious will be back very, very soon. In case you guys do not know who we are, which I highly doubt so. My name is Abstract, and with me is Aerious. So do check out our social media and kind of support us. And of course, don't forget to support Proving Grounds, and of course our venue and organizer, venue and producing. We have Zenway Productions.
And I'm back, Abstract, with a shamelessly plugging us in.
Of course.
But definitely do check us out. I do believe that our details will be in the description later.
What details?
But never our social.
our
Our
details.
details
Our
and
deets.
everything. You can find everything on Proving Grounds, Training Grounds or rather, Facebook. So that's where you can find all of our details. And if you're interested, this platform, it's a really good platform for the community. I mean, Proving Grounds started this training grounds. As a chance for amateur players, whether you're semi-professional, you consider professional, you consider amateur. This is an excellent platform for you to test out your skills, try out your team's coordination when it comes to a little more competitive setup. So
that's right.
It
It makes a big difference, especially when if you're just trying to go for a normal scrims with another team. It's just play law, play law, play law. Like that. It's,
Right,
it's,
right,
it's,
right,
it's a
right,
very
right.
simple thing. But then if you think about training grounds, it's kind of the same way as scrims. However, there is this small little element that makes things like kind of seems more important.
Right, definitely. I mean, you know, a lot of teams do well in rank, right? I mean, that's where the top players play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, generally that's where all the or you know all your global elites or your guardian masters. So that's where all the players hang out. But when it comes to team, when it comes to coordination, when all 5 members of your team are global elites, what's your next challenge, right? Winning ranked games is not exactly the end. You know, you want to
Yeah.
take part in competitions, and when it comes to competitions, it doesn't really matter about rank. You know, it matters about your team's coordination, it
That's
matters about
right.
your strategies.
You can't
whether-
carry the game
yeah,
all by yourself, right?
correct.
I mean, actually you can, to a certain extent. Yeah, to a very
Right, to a
small
certain extent, but
yeah.
but you get what I mean, right? When it comes to
Yeah,
combat
definitely.
setup, you know, that's where you really better play. And this is where players can show their, what their teams are really worth.
Exactly.
And we are headed into the second half of the map, and we do see Vindicta on that T side. Finally, we have the game going, and we might see a B rush over here. The flashes coming in.
Whoa, good flashes coming in, and looks like Blank just gonna be standing right here, trying to get some kills, but Myers will be able to get an easy kill right on the sensor. And of course, Blank going around, knifing around, hopefully that he will be able to catch someone, but looks like the bomb is not gonna be planted, and Lolewall getting a kill right on the Blank, and he's just gonna go straight for the 3 other men that is coming very, very closely. Both of them are behind pillars, and it's gonna be the only one remaining coming in from Vindicta. I thought that, he's doing it. I thought Vindicta was doing pretty well. Aerious eSports just come in, souped everything up, and for some reason, Lolewall is the only one remaining, and Dr. Pessimist just ended it.
Right.
What
Aerious
happened?
over there with that comeback? I thought exactly like you. I thought Vindicta managed to snatch that side, but for some reason, Aerious with that excellent positioning and retake. So that's what I was mentioning, right? Aerious has that skills. They have the mechanical skills. It's just that was on the T side, on the CD side just now. Vindicta had a little bit of advantage in
Oh,
terms
that's
of
interesting.
rotation. So we have a 3-man push coming in from Aerious. They are starting to push out their advantage over here.
And looks like he's just gonna go straight in for the MP7, but Dark will be able to successfully get that Deagle shot right on the Cancer's face. Styron doing the same thing right on the Blank, and it's gonna be a 5v2 situation. Even though Aerious won the previous round, the pistols coming in from Vindicta proved to be a lot more superior, and it's gonna be left with Dr. Pessimist with the scout right onto jungle opposite of Nest. What can he do? He's gonna die.
Oh, absolutely. And Vindicta once again winning that round. It doesn't make sense whenever they're on eco, they
Logic.
win the
CS:GO
round.
logic.
Vindicta had that issue, we saw in Mirage how they, or rather in Inferno, how they won the first round and then they gave it away to Aerious. And then now once again, Aerious on that, or rather Vindicta was on eco and they won the round. So I don't know if it's a trend nowadays. Somehow being on eco makes you stronger in some sense.
I know,
So
right? Especially Deagle. Deagle makes a big difference. But either way, skipping right onto the game, Styron just gonna go straight in, and looks like Vindicta did manage to grab a hold onto A side for some reason. Styron goes straight in, gets a kill, and gets another one! 3 kills coming in, all of them are headshots! And he's just gonna go straight in, pushing right onto CD base. And who knows, he might be able to get some kills right on the Nyx. And unfortunately, Nyx will be able to get that kill instead, and he will be facing off against Noob.
oh, they won the knife!
Oh.
And my ass gets that knife from Nyx. Just having a little bit of fun at this point of time. I don't think they mean no disrespect. They're just having a little bit of fun. So Vindicta over there getting the 14th round. However, there's 2 more rounds. I'm not sure whether Vindicta can close this out, but you can see it's all or nothing for Aerious over here. They're going for the full buy, 4 farmers and all.
Yeah, they can't risk it anymore. They really have to go for a force buy, and in which case,
Oh,
oh,
team
hitting
shot.
your body. That's not gonna be good. But in the end, Hyperion will be able to get a kill around the start, and Mayav will be able to get a kill around the Hyperion right in mid and connector. But Mayav doing a really good job. Will be able to scout out the legs right in the ladder room and getting himself a really nice kill. There will be 2 men remaining left coming in from Aerious eSports. Vindicta is pretty much on a roll right now with 1 man coming in right on the shop. But of course, Lenny will be able to finish him off. And with the final man, Nyx, right here in T slope. And I don't think that he will be able to do anything much from this point of time, as the bomb will be planted in B side, and he would possibly, and he must, save this gun. These farmers will most definitely make from a 15-4 into a 15-5. So the farmers, keep it. Definitely keep it.
Excellent. I just love hear you talking abstract. So a little bit of bro love over there, but Nick's right at the palace. Abstract, don't look at me like that.
I just...
Yeah, it's a 4v1 at this
no.
point of time, but Nick's all up on his own at the
Oh,
alley.
Dark. He hurt Dark.
He heard
He
that,
definitely hurt Dark.
but there's no wallbang on this side of the palace. There's no way to get a kill.
Nate's got a kill on the lolly wall! And the bomb is gonna detonate and not gonna get a kill on Lenny, but he's stuck!
And
of
it's a
course.
15-4 for Vindicta going to match point. Can anyone stop Vindicta? I guess not, unless Aerious can pull off a 15-15. That's 11 rounds in a row. Right, 11 rounds in a row.
I think that Aerious eSports don't really go, not really gonna go for anything else right now. But Blank with that XM shotgun, it might work. I want to see exactly how it's gonna play.
It has to work. It has to work.
I think that he's gonna play a van and just gonna hop around or something like that. But I don't think that anyone's coming in, and I think it's just probably not gonna work. But either way, we do have one man Styron coming in, and Pessimist with the headshot round the scout. Styron with the scout, and he did manage to see one guy in Palace, and I don't think that he will be able to do anything else. Myefs with the AWP, the big boy, the big daddy of the scout, and that's pretty much the daddy saying bye. And of course, Lenny is gonna be the only one remaining, and Aerious eSports with the 15-5. Like how?
I have absolutely no idea. I think Lenny was just, like, you know, screw this. I'm just gonna run in with Molly. But there we have it. 5 rounds for Aerious. So perhaps the 15-15 dream's still alive for me over here. But we do see that Vindicta, you know, I want to say that throughout this whole competition, they have been really, really consistent when it comes to, you know, be it performance, be it rotation. It looks like they all work with one mind, you know. They know exactly what they are doing, and the way that they rotate, the way that they execute their plans is just amazing.
Flashbang coming in right from Nest, and down he goes. And Myevs gets a kill right onto Dr. Pessimist, and just gonna go straight in with no care in the world at all. Just gonna push right onto Connector, just gonna go over to Nest right now, and boy oh boy, Myevs is in such a valuable spot right now. He can call for anywhere that he wants, but it looks like they're gonna go straight for B. Gets a kill right onto Blank. Where are they coming from? No idea, but in the end, Myevs did not clear the site properly as there was still one on bench. But does it matter in the end? Lenny gets a kill onto Hyperion, and Nyx is gonna be the only one remaining right here in high mid. Gonna slowly make his way, and Lenny with that headshot right on the Nyx. That 7.62 burst with the face.
That's wow. That was just excellent coming in for, you know, the whole team of, you know, Vindicta. You know, most of the times we see that teams generally have 1 or 2 hyper carries, but
okay,
and both Inferno and Mirage.
Yeah,
you know,
Vindicta is doing so well individually as well.
Right, every single member of the team adds certain value, or rather certain amount of kills.
Yeah.
You know, and the rotation, like I said, you know, is due to their force rotation. You know, we saw early part of the game, we saw, you know, Lenny pushing so far out that it just proved to be an issue for Aerious. Every single time they want to do an A rush, you know, Lenny is right there. He's right in the alley, not allowing Aerious to have an easy push. And when they decide to do it's as though Vindicta knows the map, or rather, not even the map. Heck, it's like they know Aerious at the back of their hand. They know what kind of rotations they're making. So, be it whether in terms of map superiority, in terms of knowledge, in terms of rotations, in terms of mechanics, you know, we saw how well Vindicta has been performing throughout this whole game. So, be it whether or not it comes to week in, week out, that's what you want to see in a team. You want to see consistency, you want to see that you can perform at your best, you know, time and time again. And I think that's what Vindicta, you know, they really were the embodiment of what we hope in, you know, not only in international scenes, but in local scenes as well.
Well, of course, to be fair, Aerious is amazingly good as well.
Absolutely.
They are consistent in their scores as well, 65 and 65.
Right.
So in other case, we only seen Aerious eSports one game. We only saw them in one game.
Right. 1 week rather.
Yeah,
So
and the score so far, teams that are fighting against Vindicta, they are all below of 5.
Right.
5
so
rounds.
so
They can't win 5 rounds of a Vindicta.
right, I would say it's like I mentioned, right? Vindicta has been on top of their games in terms of rotations, in terms of map superiority. So I would say to all the teams, GG, well played. Don't be disheartened by this for those who did not do well. You know, but I would say to all the other teams, do come back when Training Grounds comes for season 2.
Definitely.
This is only season 1, and hopefully this will pave way for more amateurs. So heck, if you want to be a shoutcaster, you want to try out what our lives is all about, you go ahead onto Facebook, and you can go ahead onto Proving Grounds Facebook, and you can try out what is it like. It's very different. It's an experience for one in a lifetime. I think that's where Training Grounds really provides the platform, not only to players, not only to shoutcasters, but for the whole CS community. So hopefully when we have such events coming out, you can head on to Facebook, you can check out what events are coming out in the near future.
Definitely. So we have finally concluded season 1 of Training Grounds.
Right.
So of course we like to thank everyone for tuning in, and of course for everyone's support. And I'm pretty sure that everyone is like looking forward to every day, every time the game, every Thursday,
Right.
and we'll be like, oh, okay, we are looking at who versus who versus who.
Right.
And really, we really thank you a lot for your support. And of course, everything, all of this is not we couldn't have done it without you guys.
Right.
And we would like to especially thank, as the shoutcasters, we would like to especially thank Proving Grounds for organizing all of
Right,
this
definitely.
for the community.
Obviously, yeah.
Right now we don't really have much. We don't really have much CS:GO coming.
Don't make us
competition.
sound so famishly.
No, that's not my point.
But I get where you're coming from,
Mhm,
right? At
yeah.
least we have something going on for the
That's
community
right,
when
that's
there's downtime. I do know that there are a couple of major events coming out for the locals in terms of competitions, but
Mhm.
let's not jump ahead of that. But as of now, like you mentioned, we'd like to thank and congrats Vindicta for performing way and above standards that we thought they could. And to all the other players and other teams, you guys did an absolutely great job of proving that you guys can come up and try your best. So I do believe that Proving Grounds annually do host the Testament Cup. That's towards the end of the year.
December, I believe. So somewhere in December we will have Testament Cup, and not to forget season 2.
Right. So that's enough from us.
Mm.
If you want to know more details about everything, you can all find it in the link. There will be a link for Proving Grounds, right? Proving Grounds Facebook.
Yep.
But that's all we have for season 1. My name's Aerious, and we'd like to thank obviously Abstract for casting alongside me.
Thank you too, and of course, thank you very much to Zerion Productions for venue and production and
Right.
that camera and this and everything.
All right, we get it. All right, but we'll see you in season 2, and thank you, right? A big thank you for all of you. So other than that, we'll see you in the next season.
See you guys. I need to eat so much.
All right, I also
really
need.
need to
Yeah,
eat.
let's go.
Yeah.